This week on Outdoor Oklahoma, Caddo Indians have been making some of the best long bows and arrows for centuries, and today we meet a man doing his part to keep this heritage alive. We'll also look back at a segment where we learned about the Oklahoma Longbown's organization, right now on Outdoor Oklahoma. Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. Oklahoma has a rich heritage of archery hunting in our state, and we can trace that back literally for centuries thanks to the Native American influence that our state has. We're fortunate here in Oklahoma to have the influence of many different tribes, and one such tribe is the Caddo Tribe from southern Louisiana. Well, they resettled in Oklahoma and brought the influence of making beautiful handcrafted bows with them. We're going to meet a gentleman today that's keeping that tradition alive.
One of my earliest memories, and I'm guessing around 4 or 5 years old, was being around some of my cousins and uncles and local other Indian tribes in the area around Colony, Oklahoma. And they were shooting bows and arrows and had some little child's bows that I was able to pick up and shoot and so forth. And that really, it just was the strongest memory I've had of archery. Of the bow and arrow, and seeing that arrow fly, man, it just put something in me so deep that here I am yet at this age still doing it. And our Caddo Tribe has had a tradition of when a male, when a baby's born that's male, they'll put a small bow and arrow in the crib with it, and then when we die, we have our favorite bow put in a casket with us. So it's a lifelong start and in between and end that is just real special to me. There are several persons, Caddo and other tribes, Cheyenne and Arapaho, that I grew up around, that had this special love for archery, for making the bow, shooting it, hunting with it. My uncle was one of those, my dad was one, and we just happened to be, our Caddo land is next to the Cheyenne Arapaho land, and there were a number of archers there that made bows and arrows, and they were top-of-the-line shooters too. They would participate in state tournaments and so forth. And you know, when I saw them with a bow in their hand and how much it meant to them, I said, well, that's what I want to be. And how they would treat it, it was just like you know, it was magic in their hands. And I thought, this is something that I want to grow to and be when I was young. And not only how they used it, but they talked about it. You know, it was almost like it was a live, a living thing for them, and how much they treasured it and used it, and would go hunt with it and come back and say, oh, yeah, we did so and so, and I shot with this bow, and you know, talked about stories like that really inspired me to think that's something I want to be. I'm proud of that I'm able to see this with them, because when they go on, you know, I hope to be that someday, helping our youngsters that way, and hope they get the same feeling out of it. Then he says, I got it here. Pull it all the way to your chin. Lean over, don't lean back. There you go, pull it to your chin. Lower, 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 up, right there. Sorry. You were right on it till I messed you up, okay. Shooting a bow is the way we shoot them, which is called instinctive, is without sights, and is drawing a bow and getting a sense of where the target is and then getting on it and not looking at your arrow, but just at the target, and releasing is an instinctive a set of skills. and those come from watching others. I mean, you can do a lot of things wrong in shooting a bow, you know. So there's the grip and the pull and the aim and so forth. A lot of it, if you just watch people, if you watch the right archer and his techniques, then you can learn, and that's how animals and people often learn things. Just watching somebody do it. Oh yeah, I see how it is. So, and I see youngsters. I teach youngsters all the time, and first thing is they've got everything backwards. You know, bow backwards, arrow wrong, and you know. But after 10 minutes of showing them, they're starting to do it the right way. So you just keep watch me. Look at the target, and just come to here, arm straight back, and shoot. Okay. You don't need to lean over. Now keep your head up. Dylan, keep that head up. All right, go ahead. There's a shooting tabs over here. I don't think anyone told me how to shoot a bow ever. I just recall that, you know, watching, and I started, yeah, it looks right, you know, and there it went. The arrow flew, it looked pretty good. You know, somebody say, oh, you know, you need to aim better or something, you know, but not any particular method in how I'm holding it and so forth. I just watched and say, oh, that's how you do it. And you can learn like that, but it's helpful to have someone show you. And then workshops that I do, I've done workshops all over the U.S. and have good understanding of what the kid is facing. I even sometimes try to do it left-handed, which turns everything, you know, which say, oh, I understand what they're talking about here, to get a feel for how they're thinking about it and what they're having to grapple with. And put it on a string underneath that little bead, and then grab it like that in the crease. Okay, now put it in the V of your hand. Okay, now get your arm up. When I said, okay, turn loose. Can you turn loose? Go ahead. Got it? Turn loose. Can you turn loose? When I say, okay, let go. Oh, here, let me help you. Over time, as I participated here and there in some archery events, and people would see my bows and arrows, and I would talk about making them and so forth. At some point, I realized that there's a way of talking about it that can quickly give information to somebody, and that I had a pretty good gift for doing that. I have a pretty good gift of not only showing kids and others how to do it, but I can entertain them with talking with them and interacting. And I never aimed for this sort of thing, but after a while I started putting little workshops together, and now I can do a all-day workshop or a 10-minute workshop or just discussion, and the participants will get as much as they could get from anyone. And it just works out that here's a way to do something, here's how you can do it, and you go do it, and once they start shooting an arrow, they're hooked on it. Okay, here we go. Put it on there. That colored feather goes up, just like that, just like you got it, okay? When I tell you turn loose, turn loose. Perfect, perfect. You gonna try it by yourself?
Yeah.
You gotta push hard up here, get it right in the V, okay? You had a little, okay, go ahead. My name is Phil Cross. I'm Caddo Indian. I'm gonna tell you how I make bows and how Caddo people made bows in the old days and in modern times. And when the European explorers came way back in the 1500s, they saw us Caddo Indians down here around Shreveport with these real fantastic bows and arrows. They knew about bows and arrows from Robin Hood's days. And they said, man, those people have the best bows and the bow wood in the world. The Caddo Tribe has a strong history with archery. Some of the earliest, at European contact, the French explorers, Spanish explorers and others always commented on these very beautiful and very high quality bows and arrows that Caddo's made. They even named the wood they use after use in archery, bodark, which means the wood of archery. And so as a Caddo myself, I tie to that. I would hope that being able to show people how to make the bow and to hunt with them, I actually take people out and say, here's what you need to do for deer hunting, turkey hunting, hunting squirrels, rabbits, so forth. To be able to show them that there's something that you're connecting to in the past, that here we're in the present, and then down the road you'll be able to look back on this and say, you know, that was a special fellow. I'd hope they would say that. He knew A to Z in making bows and made the best in the world, I'd like for them to say, and that it puts something in them that ties them not only to our tribal traditions, but ties them directly to earth, and that's where we get our materials. Ties them to outdoor things and things that are very enjoyable doing outdoors, and something that they can say when they're elderly, I want to pass that on here, and it all is important for tradition, but important for the person to be tied to the earth and doing things in a natural way.
Hunting on Ellis County WMA is a popular activity, but aside from that, it's a very neat area to visit and just go sightseeing and look at various wildlife species out on the area. It's a 4,800 acre WMA situated in the western part of the state. It's more or less 12 miles southwest of Arnett, Oklahoma. Primarily upland habitat, fairly open country with some rolling hills, very scenic area, and provides some really unique opportunities compared to some other areas across the state. Lake Benson is a 160 acre lake in the middle of the wildlife management area. It was drained a few years ago, and some work done on some fishing piers and jetties and some structures around the lake. It has since been refilled and restocked several years ago. It has bluegill, largemouth bass, and channel cat stocked in it. And they've been in there long enough now that they're starting to get to a fairly nice size. There's 3 to 4 pound fish, if not slightly bigger at this point. One of the primary reasons to come out to the WMA is probably foremost our upland game, and specifically bobwhite quail is a very popular species sought after out here. We also have a good population of Rio Grande turkeys, and we have a good population of white-tailed deer as well. I encourage you to grab your fishing pole, grab your gear, get your camping equipment, and we look forward to seeing you come out. Well, in celebration of our 40th year here on OETA this year, we're going to periodically take a look back at one of our favorite episodes. And today we're going to look back at a segment about a group that call themselves the Oklahoma Longbowmen.
The first legalized archery hunts for deer in Oklahoma occurred in 1946 at the Cherokee and Camp Gruber wildlife management areas. Although the sport of field archery was popular at the time, only a few archers bow hunted for deer for the first few years. The archers used either longbows or recurve bows, designed in the European style, and some even used self-made longbows fashioned in the traditional style of the Plains Indians using a single piece of wood. Bodark trees, also known as Osage orange or hedge apple, provided the best wood for the Native American bows. Most arrows used by the bow hunters were made of cedar, however some used the same river cane used by the Native Americans. This film footage was taken for Outdoor Oklahoma at the Cherokee Archery hunting area in 1954.
The bow hunters will do their stalking in the northern half of the Cherokee Game Management Area and the Camp Gruber area in Cherokee and Muskogee counties. Bow hunters who stay overnight in the archery area will be required to confine themselves to a general campsite set aside for that purpose. Once the camp is established, some of the hunters probably will spend at least part of their non-hunting hours in practice shooting. These hunters are shooting at paper milk cartons with practice arrows. In the field, they will use arrows like this, strong and durable. This steel arrow point looks like the head of a huge spear, but in reality, it's only about 1 3/4 inches long.
Although most of today's 50,000 state bow hunters use more sophisticated archery tackle, such as the compound bow and lightweight aluminum arrows, one group of Oklahoma archers, the Oklahoma Longbow,men, are dedicated to hunting with more traditional equipment, such as the bows and arrows used by these archers of yesteryear. We recently met up with the Oklahoma Longbowmen on their annual December bow hunt. Shooting traditional bows instinctively requires diligent practice. During non-hunting times, many of the archers use the opportunity to hone their shooting skills with some friendly competition.
Get up here.
About arrows.
The Oklahoma Longbow club got started approximately 11 years ago. The first shoot was at Lexington Public Hunting. We have approximately 140 members, really from several states, and we have approximately 8 gatherings. We have squirrel hunts, rabbit hunts, a couple deer hunts a year. We put on an archery tournament at McAllister, Oklahoma at the Army Ammunition Depot. Basically, we've got 30 very active members that make most of the shoots. The shoots are so far apart that a lot of the members just can't make all of them. We teach each other how to make bows, help each other with hunting, get together on hunting trips, share rides.
So I just kept shooting it for a while and finally got so that I was competent with it. And I came to one of the Longbowmen campouts, I think it was at Shagbark Ranch, about, 3 or 4 years ago. And some of the guys were making bows out of Osage. I thought, boy, that's really neat, but I just could never do anything like that. And I went home, and it was just one of those things that just wouldn't go away. And the next thing I knew, I went to a rabbit hunt the next year, and I got a couple billets off one of the guys. And 6 months later, I had a bow. And up until October of this year, I don't think I shot that fiberglass bow at all. And it's just, there's something about going out with a bow that you built, shooting that bow, And especially if you happen to kill an animal with it that you can take home and eat, turn the hide into something, harvest the sinew, use that to back another bow, make your own arrows. There's a kind of satisfaction that comes out of that that I haven't found in anything else.
It's more important to me now how I take a deer instead of how many I take or how big they are. And I've got good memories of a lot of the good deer that I've killed, but I've got just as many memories and just as many pictures of this group of people here and some of these outings we've had.
The longbow gives me an excuse to take that bow, which I love, and go out with people that are solid, good folks with a lot of good values. They're not out just to kill for killing's sake. They're out to hunt, take an animal, love to eat it. Many of us use the hides and the whole animal like many of the Native Americans did. So it's just it's a thrill and it's an enjoyment and a stress reliever for me. A lot of fun.
Alas, none of the archers gathered for the hunt managed to harvest a deer. However, the measure of the hunt isn't always valued in terms of game brought to bag. For this group, it is the fellowship brought on by the shared love of the bow that keeps them meeting around the campfires of hunts yet to come.
Hey, thanks for watching today. For all of us at your Wildlife Department, we'll see you right here next time on Outdoor Oklahoma.